and happy Manga Monday! Today I'm going to be sharing my top ongoing supernatural and fantasy series that I just think are the most fun, that really get me excited to read them, and that I feel comfortable recommending to people at this point. I mean, obviously you never know what's going to happen with the series. It could have a disappointing ending, but I'm really hoping for the best from all of these. So yeah, let's just jump right in with my first choice, one I've been wanting to talk about in a video for a long time, and mentioned it briefly in my Halloween reads video, going over everything I read in the month of October that was Halloween-y. But that is The Lonely Castle in the Mirror. I need more people to read this. I love this series so much, and I just feel like it is underhyped. And I am going to be the one-woman hype train for this one. I just love it. It's so good. Well, for all of these, I'm going to be the hype woman, but like seriously, it's so good. I have heard a lot of great things about the novel as well. So this is a manga based on the original novel, and it also got its own animated movie release. So I'm really hoping that once it's finished, which this one is the closest to being finished to the best of my knowledge anyway, as it will be complete at 5 volumes, and the 5th and final volume is coming out next year in 2025. So we don't have long to wait to see if this ongoing series will be a, top complete read of mine. I really hope so. But yeah, I also kind of want to do a video maybe like in March, comparing the manga, the novel, and the animated movies. I just think it would be really fun to see which was my favorite, which I think did the best in which areas. But yeah, to get back to the Lonely Castle in the Mirror manga and the summary. So this story follows 7 kids, although our girl here on the cover, Kokoro, is probably our main focal point. We learn the most from her. She's kind of the perspective in which we see all the other kids through, for the most part. And so she's our main protagonist, but all 7 kids are really interesting, and I really appreciate how well each of them stands on their own. I think they've done a really good job of characterizing them and making their personalities really distinct and overall likable kids. In the beginning, I didn't so much like all the kids, but by the end, they become all endearing and you want the best for all of them. And these 7 kids have something in common, and that is that one day the mirror in their room began to glow, and this mirror takes them like a portal to this mysterious castle where they are greeted by a girl in a wolf mask. And this girl explains to them that they can come to this castle whenever they want, except for not after like 5 p.m. until the next morning, I guess. There's some rules, but that they can look and they can explore wherever they want to find a hidden key. If they find this key, it will open a door and grant them whatever wish they want. One wish. However, if they make a wish, that means that all the kids will forget this whole experience, forget meeting each other, and so they're a little torn as they spend more and more time in this castle together and grow closer and closer together. But that desire to find the key and have a wish of theirs granted never fully leaves their mind, because they all have one thing or another that they really want, and that most of them seem to be able to spend so much time in the castle during the day and play games with each other, have tea, get to know each other more, because they're not going to school for one reason or another. They have experienced bullying or other struggles and traumas in their lives that has made it so this castle becomes like their only sanctuary and safe place. And yeah, so it's really great to see the bonds the kids form. And like I said, I grew to really like all the kids. And yeah, I just I think this one's so good. Obviously, the fantasy element is more of like a device for the plot to move forward, meaning there isn't as much fantasy as some of the other titles I have that I will be talking about. So yeah, let's move on to my next favorite ongoing supernatural fantasy type read, and which is another one that I featured in my Halloween reads video. That is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. I think I have talked about this in another video, but it's been a little while, and I just really still find it so fun. A zombie apocalypse would be the perfect backdrop for a fun, action-packed, comedy-fueled series. You have the looming threat that, as the series goes on, actually like sometimes does actually pose a threat, but the series itself, the focal point is just really capitalizing on humorous interactions and ridiculous situations this group of people find themselves in, and the pure joy of like just being with people and doing the things on their bucket list and experiencing something new. It's so like hope filled and like makes you feel like a renewed like love of life feeling. I always feel like when I read it, it's like, oh my god, yeah, the world is filled with so much wonder and so many amazing things and people, and like I am just sitting here reading a manga, but like I am like that renewed like hope in humanity, even though we are in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. Is literal dire straits in here, but I'm just like, yeah, it's great to be alive. It's such a great emotion that it can evoke, and that a lot of zombie type series really rely on the horror and the dread and the anxiety of it all. But like this one really just takes a whole different approach to it. So I just can't stop harping about it. There's also an anime that came out on Netflix. So if you'd rather just check out the anime, see if it appeals to you, I think it's such a fun time. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But it follows our main protagonist, Akira, who has been a bottom of the company ladder, worked to the bone, just a miserable husk of a human being. When we meet him, he is so just lacks any energy or excitement about life. And then as soon as the zombie apocalypse hits, he is like ecstatic. He never has to work at this shitty company again, and he's gonna do everything that he can think of that he wants to do until he dies. I mean, he's like very like, I'm gonna live my life now. I'm gonna just go live my life. And he and his best friend and two girls that they meet end up being like the core four of this group, that they also contribute their own entries for the bucket list, and that they just want to complete these things before they might get, bit by a zombie, or, might be the end of the line for them. And so that starts just like this jovial nature of this story. I mean, yeah, there's action, there's zombies that pop out, scare them, and they're running from them, but it's just so much more like in a comedic tone. I mean, there's like zombie animals, you have to fight with like a robot. It gets wild. Like, it's the most like shenanigan-y, like out there concept, while still being rooted in the real world and exploring all of Japan, because their bucket list kind of takes them on a pilgrimage all around the country. So it's also just really cool to see these different parts of Japan that they explore in the manga, and the different foods or the different activities or the whatever they do. And yeah, so it's just like, it's just a fun time. It's just a fun road trip with friends amidst a zombie apocalypse. And I just think, like, who doesn't want to read that? It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, now we move on to possibly two even more obscure titles. because I think Zom 100 at least is a little bit more well-known, but I'll be curious if anyone's read either of these series and what you think of them. But first up we have the most notorious talker runs the world's greatest clan. I don't know why. I was so intrigued with this. I don't usually like, I don't want to say that, but like when they have the long title and there's a male protagonist and it feels very much based off a light novel, I look at it and I go, I just feel like I know what I'm going to get from that. But I looked at this one and I felt like I might be surprised, and I was surprised and really fell for this one. I really love this one. A friend of mine actually gifted me the first volume and I was super duper sold after that. I had to get them all, but like it doesn't hurt that it has like attractive men in it and attractive women. So I think it was like a combination of the story does sound interesting and the covers were looking nice. I mean, even our main protagonist, Noel here, looks, he's cutie. I mean, he's like our short king. But yeah, so Noel here happens to be the grandson of like one of the most formidable, mightiest heroes of the empire. He's really well known, well regarded, super duper strong. However, in this world, you get assigned what class you are essentially. So there's like a couple different classes you can get assigned to, what your like abilities are, and Noel unfortunately gets assigned to the weakest class of adventurer, a talker. So their abilities are only to be able to enhance other members on their team's abilities. So they really don't have any abilities they can use for themselves. And Noel is like heartbroken at this because he wants to be a hero as mighty and powerful as his grandfather, but he'll have to resort to pure physical training and his intelligence and relying on his team to become the world's greatest seeker, which is his goal and obviously based on the title. And what this is not one to get into if you want more of those shonen vibes where, and I say this with all the love I have about shonen and shonen type stories, but there is usually your core group of characters, especially your protagonist, and these characters are the righteous ones, the good people. They uphold justice. They fight for what's right. No, these people, they not like that. Jesus Christ. Noel is a freaking maniac. He is a horrible person. I mean, is it justified sometimes? Yes, for sure. But he is malicious. He is sneaky, conniving, and he will do anything to run the world's greatest clan and become the world's greatest seeker. Like I said, he's ruthless and he's very he's not in the up and up, you know, like some of the methods he employs are very backstabby or manipulative, or, you know, tricking people into acting or doing a certain thing. He plays a lot of mind games and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. We kick this first volume off with Noel being part of a clan already, and this clan he seems to be good friends with, but there is a falling out that happens in the clan. And what Noel does to get back at these members, oh my gosh, I mean, yeah, not a good person. Not a good, let me just put it like that. He's not a good person. I still root for him. I don't care what crappy things he does. He is my morally gray. I don't even know if it's gray. He's like my morally black, evil-hearted protagonist of my dreams. I love him. He could do no wrong with all the wrong that he does. Like, I'm just still gonna be like, you shouldn't have pissed Noel off. You should have known better. You should have. Don't fuck with Noel. Like, I love him. He is great. I love a strong character. And not only is he, you know, built himself up physically to compensate for his weak ability, he also has a really great mind, a really intelligent outlook on things and, you know, way of looking at people and kind of sussing them out. And I just really love that. I love an intelligent protagonist. Like, I love that he uses his brains more than brute strength to get what he wants and to come out on top. I love it. But yeah, like I said, not shonen, not giving you goody vibes at all. If you want to be able to root for your protagonist because he's a good person, don't pick this one up. But if you like more of a genuinely bad guy as your protagonist, who's just great in my opinion, it's good to be bad sometimes. Good to be bad. They say crime don't pay, but I don't know. I love it. I just feel like if you want a different kind of fantasy adventure action story, then this might pleasantly surprise you on how many dark elements it has, but it does still have that charm, the comedic side. It's dark comedy, I for sure, but a dark comedy throughout that it just always can't help rooting for Noel. At least I can't help rooting for Noel throughout it all because he's bad, but he makes it look so damn good. All right, and my last entry, one I've also been dying to talk about since I discovered it, one of my new favorites, and that is Togi Oni, Primal Gods in Ancient Times. So this was like end of August or September, I don't remember, but around that time I was looking for new, you know, volumes to read for a video. Came across this one. It really didn't fit the sci-fi vibes that the video was going for, but the Amazon reviews piqued my interest. And it was like, this is such an underhyped series, like everybody's missing out on this, and it's so good. It has strong female protagonists, it has really interesting world building, and all these great things that really piqued my interest. So I immediately bought volume 1 to test the waters, and I was not disappointed. I really fell in love with this one. It is just really immerses you in this fantasy world that feels very much set in the past, but has all these fantastical elements throughout it, because this is a land that was once ruled by powerful gods as widely varied in form and temper as the parishes they governed, with each possessing a unique sacred instrument. And we find ourselves presently as the priest and the layman travels between these shrines in search of divine favor, along with his 2 assistants, and braves all the whims and wraths of the gods, along with other fearsome creatures and fantastical situations they find themselves in while traveling, with their ultimate destination in mind being this sacred mountain that has a god that can make any wish come true. Kind of like full circling back to like Lonely Castle in the Mirror. Very like episodic with these 3 traveling together and encountering a new god in a new situation in different areas that they wander into, and it is weird situations they become involved in. And I really love all 3 characters. I especially love Mio. I think she's such a great character, and I really like her and Zen's relationship. They're so cute. What the fuck was that? It was a bug and I freaked out. Oh my god, I think it might have just been a ladybug, but yep, it's a ladybug. It's on me. You know, I tell you guys not to freak me the fuck out. I do not like when something buzzes at me. I freak out. I'm a baby. Go get the book now. Oh my god. Okay. Whew. Drama. I don't know, I really love this one. I'm very curious how long this will go. The 5th volume is coming out in December, so I'm really hyped for it and can't wait. And yeah, I do think I completely agree with the Amazon reviews I read of it. It is such a good fantasy series that is being like virtually slept on, in my opinion. If you have read Spirit Circle, this one just gives me similar vibes to that one, and it's like, it was so nice to find after like years of completing that series and like not having anything that could fill the void of it, really. This one is perfectly filling that void. It is just like playing with time a little bit and these weird dimensions of the gods, and everything is so fantastical and supernatural, but yet grounded by these 3 main protagonists that are just very endearing and likable, and it gives you found family vibes with this trio, and I love all that stuff. Just, it makes for such a good read. And yeah, I think if you like any of that, then this could be your next favorite read as well. I mean, I don't want to hype it up too much and then you hate it. I always hate that, but just personally, I had so much fun with this one. I love this one so much. Yeah, I would say this is the most fantasy out of the fantasy series to end with. The one that is filled with fantastical situations and creatures. And yeah, I know I hyped it up a lot, but I just want more people to read it. It's so good. So yeah, those were the ongoing fantasy supernatural type series that I just have so much fun with. Like, every time I get a new volume, I just really want to dive in and read it. I enjoy all the characters. I have a good time. They're just some of my favorite series right now, and I wanted to share them all with you. So of course, feel free to share with me your favorite ongoing fantasy supernatural series. I can't wait to hear what they are. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel if you love manga. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. It means the world to me, just that small little boop on the button. That's all for today's video. I hope to see you next time. Until then, bye!